Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Oh, yeah, hello, and welcome to whatever this is. I don't quite recognize anything anymore, so I don't know. We're all just sort of feeling our way through this together. I do want to say to anybody, do not, I'm just telling you this, do not tell me to give Steve Bannon a chance, Donald Trump a chance. Don't. As I said, I think before, they blew any chance that I could give them a chance long ago. I'm not an idiot. I want to say this. And I'm sorry you missed it. And if you did miss it, please find it somehow. But on BET last night, Black Entertainment, there was a 2-hour show from the White House that, if you saw Saturday Night Live, Dave Chappelle referred to on Saturday's show, about being at the White House where there was nobody there but black people. Everybody was black except Bradley Cooper. And it turns out that was right. Because this event, which was put on by BET to honor the first black president, was, that has to be one of the best concerts ever in the history of the universe. I wish you could have been there. I don't even know where to begin. It was remarkable. But what was so wonderful was the fact that this was the White House. And it was blindingly black. Everyone there, even the military types who sort of stand there when the president walks in and all that, everyone was black. I still don't quite get why Bradley Cooper got in. It was a love fest. And a thank you. And the president and his wife, Michelle, were just, to see them, it was, I got to tell you, I was in tears a few times during it. Because I was watching something that never, ever before happened in the White House. And I was watching something that will never, ever again, in my lifetime, I suspect, happen in the White House. Oh, what a different place it will be. And I realized as I was watching it that it was exactly a scene like this that makes so many Americans' heads explode. Like the woman in West Virginia with her Facebook post. Oh, finally, we're going to get a classy first lady in the White House and not that ape in heels. If there's a way on demand or something to see that, treat yourself. It really was extraordinary. Okay, some other things. Just those apathy things are just proliferating. Are you seeing them all over the place?
Saw one yesterday.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. I love it. So a friend texted me today and said, "Do you think the person doing this is clueless or brilliant?" I have to believe brilliant, because I have to believe brilliant. I don't know. Okay, so also, I have forever, ever in a day, had New Balance shoes for my workouts, my walks, my everything else. I threw them out last night. And if you have New Balance shoes and you can afford to do what I did, throw them out, do it. It is now a political act. New Balance has very clearly put themselves in Trump's pocket, and even some right-wing group, I don't mean right-wing as much as I mean fascist or racist group, I'm not quite clear which one, has announced that New Balance is now the official shoe of white America. So bury them, burn them, toss them, give them to Goodwill, but I can't wear them anymore. Just a little update. It's like every move we make now is an indication of which side are you on, and it's important to state it over and over and over again. It is. Sorry, guys, but it is. Oh, Milt, thank you. The show is available at bet.com. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. It is fantastic. Great. I'm going to watch it again. I got to watch it again. It made me feel good. I mean, it made me feel good till the thought would enter my head that this is over. This is ending. And you see how he wouldn't have done this. This wouldn't have happened in the White House until the end of his administration, because he knew that it would freak people out. That level of him reveling in his blackness, showing that is where he feels most at home, most comfortable, and understandably. Well, treat yourself. That's all I can tell you. It's the best thing I've done since the horror of the election. Okay, and saying that I wouldn't give Bannon a chance, I came upon this in the Washington Post, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, but whoever this woman is, that's not it. I love her. Got the wrong one. Come on. Respond to me, my technological friend. Thank you. Here it is. Okay. So, I'm not sure who this lady is. Her name is... Oh, I think I have her name. Sure. Alexandra Petri. And she is sick and tired, too, of hearing people tell her give him a chance. So she says this, listen, what proof do you have that this dead lizard wrapped in the Confederate flag will not make an excellent chief strategist and senior counselor to the President of the United States? I, for one, believe that everyone deserves a chance. You're not wrong that this does appear to be a pig's head slowly rotting on a stake, grotesque insinuations pouring from its mouth as flies buzz around it in the island heat. But I would need to learn more about it, honestly. I'm no expert. You say that this man just painted a swastika on a church, but couldn't it be a plus sign? We don't know. Some people are better at drawing plus signs than others. I wouldn't read anything into it. Maybe he just loves churches. Yeah, I know. This rabid opossum bit me on the ankle, then handed me an Islamophobic pamphlet. But we have no proof it wrote the pamphlet. This is America, where we always give the benefit of the doubt. And just because something attracts anti-Semites and racists doesn't mean that it itself is either of those things. It doesn't mean that it supports those views. Who knows why anyone is attracted to anything? Weird coincidences happen all the time. Listen, when we need to denounce an actual racist or an actual anti-Semite, white supremacist, Islamophobe, you name it, I will be there. I promise. I will not hesitate to do that when the time comes, clearly and appropriately labeled. I have yet to see one, but when I do, boy, I will light into him. It will be something to see, but this is not that. I have no doubt that a real racist, sexist, chauvinist, white supremacist will be easy to spot. I am coming for minorities now, he will say. I am an actual racist, he will say. I am literally Hitler, at the very least, Goebbels. In fact, I recently read an article that pointed out quite astutely that we are not talking about literal Joseph Goebbels here, and it reassured me a great deal. When I think of positive things to say about people, the first place I go to is negative comparisons to Hitler's inner circle. That was what I said at my best friend's wedding during the maid of honor speech. We don't know for a fact, I said, that Emily is one of history's greatest monsters. Now, if that is not a resounding endorsement of someone's character, I really can't think what is. So, I say, as many courageous members of Congress have said with me, what evidence do we have that Breitbart Steve Bannon will be anything but a fine chief strategist and counselor to President Donald Trump? We have no proof that he is threatening, other than his words and actions, the voices that he has given a platform to, and the ugly philosophy he has allowed to spread. We cannot possibly know what is in his heart. So, who knows? There's no need to denounce him. We should wait and see. Hear him out. But when something really counts, you bet I will stand up. I will say something. Alexandra nailed it. This is why The Onion's going out of business, by the way. Because they just can't. You can't do it with this crowd. You can't do it, really. I want to thank so many of you who I know have joined up with the ACLU, and I want to prod others who have yet not done so to do so. Just go to ACLU PA. Do the Pennsylvania one. Make it more local. ACLUPA.com and join. You will immediately be a part of a community. You will immediately be in the loop in ways that you want to. the Wall Street Journal reports today that the ACLU, in the 6 days since the election, has received over $8 million in unsolicited donations, and they're small donations. They're not huge. They're people sending $10, $20. It is unprecedented in this history of the ACLU, which, by the way, is just 3 years shy of 100 years. Planned Parenthood, as well, is not saying how much they've gotten, but they have received gifts from 128,000 people since the election, and it says it is without a doubt the largest spike they've ever seen in its history, and that history, too, is 100 years. That's how we got to stand up. That's how we have to fight. They refer to a woman who is a videographer, and she said she had never donated to a political organization, but the day after the election, she got on the ACLU's site and set up recurring $50 contributions to it, as well as to Planned Parenthood, and as well as to Citizens Climate Education. She truly understands, obviously, everything is threatened, but women's rights over her own body, without a doubt, civil liberties, without a doubt, and the earth, without a doubt. So, I have this question. What you doing for Thanksgiving? Seriously, that's my question, because I know, because I have received emails from some of you, and in conversations with people in my life, there are a lot of people who don't know what to do because they don't want to be with their families. Huh? Yeah. They can't bear the thought of it because there are a lot of people who are the only people in their families who did not vote for Trump. And they can't, really, they just can't be with them. So people are canceling Christmas things. They're already canceling Thanksgiving plans. They are altering wedding plans. Someone who was going to get married, I think it was in June, has now moved it up and moved it out of the country so that her potential in-laws will not be able to come. She doesn't want to have them there. These are not isolated incidents. They're being reported now in newspapers all over the place, the New York Times, the Washington Post. Some of you have told me, oh my God, I got to go to this birthday party in the North Hills this weekend. They're all Trump support. I just can't. The Wall Street Journal had some how to get along at Thanksgiving. I mean, they literally had how to reconcile with your family, tips. But they profile a family that is ripped apart. It's a 4-member family. The husband and one son voted for Trump. The wife and the other son voted for Hillary. And the guys who voted for Trump are not attending Thanksgiving or Christmas with the in-laws, which is fine with the in-laws. Because the mother-in-law here says, I would prefer they don't come. And the woman whose husband is now not going with her to her family's what they always do, Thanksgiving, said this: I'm a little torn, of course, but I don't want everyone to be walking on eggshells and no one having a good time. I hope that by Christmas things might be more calm and we can be together again. It's happening. So here's what the Wall Street Journal says you're supposed to do. Number 1, don't gloat if your candidate won, and don't predict the end of the country if you lost. Well, what about my cherished right as an individual to say what I think? Number 2, don't continue an argument that will get you nowhere. Well, I'm for that. 3, at holiday gatherings, Clinton supporters should tell Trump supporters that they were not for him, but hope he is a good president. Then go get a glass of wine and talk to someone else. I'm sorry. The Wall Street Journal is suggesting that you be disingenuous and dishonest. And finally, they say, put the presidential campaign in a box, leave it on the shelf, and move on. Sorry. This, by the way, this advice came from the director of marriage and family therapy at the University of Minnesota. So, we want to thank Donald Trump and his cohort for ruining Thanksgiving and Christmas for an awful lot of people and making it exceedingly uncomfortable for many others, awkward as hell. Thank you. Marianne says, I wanted you to know that my husband and I joined the ACLU. We represent some of the blue in the very scary red Butler County. Since the election, I wake up feeling like I'm in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Yeah. Thanks for the work you do. By the way, I rolled off the production line in 1948, as you did. Hey, I saw that big moon last night. I'd missed it the other. Man, that's been since 48. That moon. It is awesome. Caller, hello.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to.
I can't.
Yeah, I can. I can't, because I have my daughter-in-law coming over, and then I could go see my grandson has a birthday in December, and I'm around their family, and they vote for it, so I got to pretty much just keep my mouth shut.
Well, if you want to be with your grandchild, I understand that.
But
Are they at least willing to not gloat?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, I think you would be in your rights to say, hey, guys, you got me outnumbered. Could you just back off? Couldn't you say something like that?
Probably, yeah.
Don't just sit and take it. Don't let them beat up on you.
Well, if they start talking about policy, I'll probably have to say a few things. Because but I'm kind of with, like you said, I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm going to stay independent. I might even change my, not that I'll probably still vote Democrat, but I'm not going to give them that satisfaction anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been disappointed. They disappointed me many times, and I stuck with them, but there's nowhere else to go to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll probably stay with them.
Yeah.
But another thing I was going to say, when you were saying about this giving to Planned Parenthood, which I think is great, but you're making Paul Ryan's case. I think it was Paul Ryan. He said government should be cutting these funds and charities should take it. Communities should take care of these people. Take care of the elderly, take care of the poor. So that's his case against all these social programs.
Uh-huh.
So that's what they'll say. Well, see, they're still making it. We don't need to fund them anymore.
Yeah.
So we're making their case in a way, but you got to give
No.
to different charities. I agree with that, but that's what That's what I think.
You can give to charity till you're blue in the face, and there will still be a need for much, much more.
Yeah.
I don't know what government exists for if it doesn't exist to help those it governs. I don't know what it exists for if not for that.
Another thing I was thinking, I know you probably don't like him. I agree with him on some things. You know who could have won? I was thinking, if Trump got in there, I think Jesse Ventura could have won if he run.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I
Well.
think he could have been.
He's part of the establishment. He was a governor of Minnesota. Who the hell knows who could have won? And people who say Bernie could have won are out of their minds.
Yeah.
They have no idea the kind of, oh my God, so-called Oppo research that the Republicans had on him. Let alone, you think all these racists we now know we live amongst would have voted for an old Jew socialist?
No.
Give me a break.
And one other thing, you said you were ashamed of our country and you thought we were better
Yeah.
than this.
Yeah.
I never did. I
Well,
always saw this growing up, working in the factories, working the jobs. This existed. It's deep-rooted. I have to walk away from some of the people, but it was there. Even with the black person getting in office, it was there. I just didn't know it would come out to a head like it did.
well, I was living in a bubble.
Yeah, I always saw it was there. I kind of was hoping it wasn't, but I always saw that there.
Okay, well, good for you. Good luck with your family. I'm sure you're doing the right thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. I'm glad I don't have to do it. Henry writes, add Yingling beer to the list of companies outwardly throwing their support behind Trump. That is true. No more Yinglings for you guys. None. You can't. You got to vote with your dollars as well. Another one is Home Depot. I mean, that's very convenient for me to get stuff at Home Depot. Twice in the last month, I have driven much further to get something rather than give my money to Home Depot. So we know we got New Balance, we got Home Depot, and we've got Yingling beer. And it's headquartered in Pottsville, PA, Trump country. And, it was funny. The ACLU had an event on Monday night at a fancy schmancy restaurant here. And there was a bar, and there were two beers that were being offered. And one was Yingling. And not a soul there. They all knew not a soul there would drink it. And it was already paid for, I guess. They didn't. That's just what the restaurant had. No, use your money to state your case. Seriously. Listen to this. This is, I suppose, this is how this happens. That so many people that, like, I know because they live in the city, but are originally from rural area or small town, from conservative people and maybe not highly educated people. In other words, from Trump country. This is indicative of it. This was in part of a feature piece in the New York Times today, I believe. Yeah. This is a woman who is 61 years old. She is a professor at Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster. She grew up in rural Tennessee. She served in the Air Force in the 1970s. And because of that, she lived all over the world. It opened her eyes. She went back to college, earned her PhD. And those two things set her apart from her family. None of them have such education. None of them have traveled outside of the country. she has a different view. And she says this now. She's not going home, by the way, for Thanksgiving. She said, I feel like I've been living with a lot of people wearing masks who have been holding their true selves and now hiding their true selves. And now with this vote, their true selves are more apparent. I don't want to be part of the grand narrative that the liberal elite doesn't get the working class. I am the working class. I'm from it. I'm now pretty well solidly middle class, but to my relatives, I'm elite, overeducated, too well-read, and alien. I feel like a stranger in a strange land. And I guess she feels like she's orphaned. A lot of people feeling that way. We have a call. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, hello. Goodbye, goodbye. And here's how someone who's like, looks at all of this and says, well, let me see what we really have happening here. This is a elitist, I guess, an academic. He says this. We are seeing a profound disagreement about what kind of America we want. Some believe society should be organized with an emphasis on individual rights, while others of us feel the focus should be on maintaining the common good, which requires checks on individuals. Many, though, feel the multiculturalism so prized by liberals has made their communities harder to understand and to identify with. Yeah, I think he's got that about right. I think he's got it about right. But I'm my father's daughter, and what he taught me was family is extremely important, and my family is as solid and wonderful a unit as there is. And after family, he thought community. And you don't just community. You have to be a part of something beyond yourself. That was the value that was drilled into my head. I am no more one of these Americans who think it's all about me. And that has become really almost triumphant, I think, in our culture. And it's brought us to this. Caller, are you still there? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Susie from Swisshelm Park.
Hi, Susie. You sound too chipper for me.
Well, I'm not. I always sound chipper on the phone. I guess it's all my years from working in radio or doing voiceovers or something.
Ah.
I don't know. Anyway, my mother is just as big a Hillary backer as you and me and everybody else. I can't discuss the election with her either.
And why is that?
Because it upsets her so much.
Yeah. Aw.
She's 89 years old.
Yeah.
And she's not frail, but I'm scared she's going to have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we're scared of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. My sister last week had texted me something about how Mom is really down. That's not the word she used, but I thought, really? Because I think of my mother as so, just always on top. And I called her up, and she sounded better than me. But, yeah, you think if someone is old and vulnerable, that you don't want them suffering like this. And there's a lot of old people who are thinking, what have we done?
Yeah. My mother sounds, just fine and everything, but as soon as you say anything that has to do with the election, she just gets this sound in her voice, and I just get scared and back away.
Yeah, so don't upset her. You don't want to talk to her about it.
No, she's got heart problems.
No, you got to protect her. No, you got to protect her.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than having a mom who's a Trump supporter.
Heck yeah. I've got a couple in my family.
Yeah,
and,
most do.
I just steer clear of that talking.
Yeah. All right, you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate the report from Frick. Thank you.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right, bye. It's easy for me to say. I don't know what I would do if a member of my immediate family was like a vociferous Trump supporter. I don't know, because I love my family individually, but it would be, I could not, I don't know. I'm so lucky I don't have this problem. I know a lot of you do. A lot of you do. We have a call. Hello. 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 Yeah.
Am I on air?
You are on air.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I agree with, oh my God, can connect with everything you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Number one, Yingling has been banned in my house for several years now because they were seriously supported the right to work whole issue.
God, they're just vile.
Yeah, so that they've been suspect for a long time.
Okay.
But I wanted to say, I am going to an event this evening. I will be in the North Hills, and I will be surrounded by family, extended family. My siblings suggested that I cancel. I almost did a couple days ago, and then I said, no, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. At times I feel very confident that it's not going to be an issue. But I am nervous. There's no doubt about it. Here's my one comeback that I have to very gently and quietly speak to these people so that I don't sound elitist, right? Which is always the issue. Dumb it all down, right?
Oh, God.
Something that I'm not hearing talking about. I think that Trump's election has finally squashed the right's hold on the party of family values. To me, this is critical. It's almost as though these people, anybody who voted for Trump, absolutely no longer can hide behind the veil of a conservative family value person. The masks are off. They voted for a debauched character.
Mm-hmm.
The soon-to-be First Lady is a soft porn pinup girl. I want to see calendars. I want to see keychains. I want it out there. They can no longer claim some sort of moral superiority, which I have always felt from these people somewhere along the line. It's gone.
Right. Okay, so you're saying they've lost the claim of, we are the party of the pure and family values when they put such a vulgarian and a misogynist and a hater in the. Well, I agree with you, but these people they'll keep the banner and keep waving it.
Well, and that's
because at least they don't gays, in
I'm
their
not
families.
Militant, but on this point, I feel like I have to be from now on.
That's cool.
And to let people know very calmly, well, you just lost that.
Okay.
You voted for a debauched character, and I never want to hear anything about morals again.
Well, good luck. When you go into this thing?
Tonight.
Good luck.
I'm scared. Oh, okay.
Don't drink too much.
I won't.
Okay.
Nothing. Bye.
Okay. Bye. God help you. Isn't that something? I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say, I have to go to this thing in the North Hills. And they say it like they're venturing into some alien, frightening, really. I want you guys in the North Hills to know that. We are scared of you in a way. Repelled by you is another thing. Okay, somebody sent me, here are companies that you don't want to spend your money with because their leadership have endorsed Trump. New Balance, Yingling, Miller Coors. Oh, you beer drinkers, you're in trouble, huh? Jenny Craig. PayPal. Just saying, if you want to, use your dollars as ways of supporting things or not, PayPal, Home Depot, Hobby Lobby. And then there's just a ton that do business with the Trump family. And if you want to let them know, unless they sever those ties, you're not. But I don't know if you want to go that far, because it's pretty much everybody. Amazon, Bed Bath & Beyond, Burlington Coat, DSW, HSN, Hudson Bay, Lord & Taylor, Macy's, Marshalls, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, TJ Maxx, Zappos, blah, 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 have connections to the Trump companies. So, I think you know that I do Twitter, and I followed Donald Trump's Twitter account because I thought I needed to know what he was saying. It is mind-boggling what he's doing now. This is a guy who quite clearly is going to not be restrained in the presidency. He has no sense of the dignity of the office because he's still tweeting. He is tweeting and he's going after. His skin is as thin as it ever was. And here are some of his tweets in the last 12 hours. This is the one that makes me insane. Because media last evening started reporting on the fact that his transition team has been blown to pieces. They threw out Christie and anybody in any way having to do with Christie. They brought in a whole bunch of new people. Now that Pence is in charge, people who were rumored to be in line for this particular job are now out. New deplorables have been brought in. And Trump is sitting there reading and watching TV and seeing the reporting about what's going on right now, the disarray at Trump Tower. And he tweets this. He tweets this about 11 o'clock last night. Very organized process taking place as I decide on cabinet and many other positions. I am the only one who knows who the finalists are! Exclamation point. This is a reality show. It's the only thing he knows. He's the only one who knows who the finalists are. And he'll do his big reveal, I guess. He'll build the tension and then he tweets. He's going after the New York Times. He had a series of tweets early this morning, screaming that the New York Times was lying through its teeth about who he's talked to, what presidents of what countries, blah, blah, blah. And the third or fourth tweet says this, that no matter who, Australia, New Zealand, and more, I'm always available to them. The New York Times is just upset that they look like fools in their coverage of me. This is a president. This is a president. Amazing. Hang your heads. When I say I'm humiliated, I'm ashamed, I am. I mean, I didn't vote for him, but I obviously did something wrong as a citizen. Or not enough, or something. The world is upside down. Glenn Beck is now on the same side as I am. I mean, I can't handle any of it. Glenn Beck is out there saying that these people on the alt-right are truly terrifying. That's what he says. If he... Someone I follow tweeted this about Trump and his I'm the only one who knows the finalist stuff. He tweeted this. We're going to cast 15 cabinet members and eliminate one a week. The last remaining one will marry Tiffany. I'm trying to laugh. I see somebody here wants to talk about Frank Gaffney. Believe me, so do I, but we've got a call. Hang on. Hello?
Hi, Lynn. Yeah, you're right. It is a reality TV show.
Yeah.
What people didn't know was the Republican primaries was actually Survivor. Now, I never watched Survivor. I mean, I watched parts of the first season.
Me too. Yeah, I know how it works.
Everybody's talking about it. But from what I read, it was Christie and Trump agreed to work together to get Rubio out.
Right, right. Go ahead.
Isn't that Survivor?
That's like Survivor.
That's a reality TV show.
Yeah, you make alliances. You decide, you'll stab this one in the back. Hey, if I get through, you save me. If I get through, I'll save. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And Christie, by bowing out as quickly as he did, and remember how shocking it was when he endorsed Trump? He was simply abiding by that agreement. And man, the way that he's been tossed to the curb. I mean, you talk about a big loser, another reality show, in all of this.
I think that when we got that story that where he said, where we learned that Trump thought he'd be out by October, I think that was Christie leaking that.
Yes.
Just after he had kind of been booted.
Right. And who's...
Now he comes and says he's fine.
Well, who was gunning for Christie almost since day one was Trump's son-in-law. Ivanka's husband. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is an interesting history you don't know. You know why? Because Chris Christie used to be, before he was governor, the U.S. attorney in the New Jersey district, whatever it is there. Yeah. And he prosecuted and put in jail Kushner, the son-in-law's father.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I didn't even...
So how weird was it that while Donald loves his son-in-law, the fact is his in-law was jailed. His daughter's father-in-law was jailed by Christie, who Trump also liked. I mean, this bunch, they are so vile in every way, any way you turn them or look at them.
I looked at them as kind of New Yorkers and New Jerseyans, in that sense. I don't know. It's a different place there to a large extent.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I mean, and then you have Giuliani. Good God, who also was a leading prosecutor. In New York, and that he is
even Hillary.
Yeah. But
New York, yeah.
He is openly, Giuliani, begging to be Secretary of State, and Trump is having a hard time saying no to him because nobody has been more dogged in their support of Trump through ill and good times than Giuliani. But Giuliani is about as crazed and loose a cannon as there is. And that he would be the United States chief diplomat is mind-boggling.
Well, Lynn, not to change the subject, but to turn it in a different direction. Bernie Sanders seems, I mean, everybody looks in hindsight and says Bernie Sanders would have been the candidate to run against Trump because they're both populist, figureheads, but
right.
One is of the right, one is of the left. But the thing is this, and that is, there are a lot more people out there who shop at Walmart and Family Dollar than there are that shop at their local food co-op and
correct.
What's the one?
Whatever.
The grocery store. I'm thinking, yeah,
Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where I think there's a disconnect. But the thing is that the interests are actually very similar on some major issues.
Correct.
Everybody, can agree on that. So I think at some point, if we could get a candidate who was sort of a merger of them, able to speak to the World Wrestling folks and able to speak to the Whole Foods folks, that's going to be a key. I read that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, wants to run, and I bet you he has a chance.
Well, this is what we've come to. You can't be president anymore unless you're a television or movie star. Is that what we've come to?
Yeah, I think it's quite possible. The only way is if this is just a colossal, terror. If this is a colossal error, if there are major things. But the thing is, it's hard to know because it doesn't look like we're going to get Trump going with the media. It looks like he's going to just do his social media stuff. So, he can spin everything. But, Obama was trying to send a message. He said, reality has a way of enforcing itself on you, whether you, know it or not. Do you remember that quote?
Yeah.
And I think he was saying that.
Well, we'll
see.
We will see. Batten down the hatches, guys. Okay, thank you, caller. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Jack writes, Lynn, when you have time, if you've not already done. So another crazy showing up in the shadows of the Trump transition team is Frank Gaffney. Oh, dear God, guys. This guy, writes Jack, is truly an Islamic phobic with a true nutty conspiracy. He is. Yeah, here, Frank Gaffney, for those of you who don't know, is founder of something called the Center for Security Policy, which is off the charts, whacked out. He is a purveyor and long has been of conspiracy theories, including that the president is a Muslim. And the Southern Poverty Law Center says of Gaffney this: he is one of America's most notorious Islamophobes. And this is who has now been brought in to the Transition Committee specifically for national security. And by the way, as of yesterday afternoon, officials at the Defense Department and officials at the Justice Department, certainly two of the more important departments in our government, have received 1 week and more after the election. Officials at those two departments have received not one contact from Trump's people. So the new president, the president-elect, his transition team has not even made contact with these two huge agencies that they will be running in a few months. People who've been around for a while are stunned. Margie's got a good idea. If you can't go and be with your family for Thanksgiving, volunteer to go to a shelter or someplace that's feeding people and have a wonderful and meaningful Thanksgiving. Hey, let me tell you about Dr. Stiles. Really. This is something that can work. Dr. Stiles has been a hypnotist for 52 years. No flash in the pan. All of a sudden, hypnosis got sort of hot about, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? And people calling themselves hypnotists were coming out of the woodwork. And believe me, there's a lot of bad ones out there. I went to one, a bad one, and man, I know the difference. As I said, I have been successfully hypnotized so many times. For weight, for anxiety, and for cigarette smoking. Well, one of the hypnotists I've been to is Dr. Bill Stiles, and he's good. You get your money's worth. You get a full hour. You get him helping you get control of your own head. It's an amazing experience, really. And, I'm sure people would say, Lynn, you don't seem like the kind of person who would be hypnotized. I mean, you're so strong-willed, and had nothing to do with that. And I remember the first time I was hypnotized, as the hypnotist, who was also very good, this was back in Madison, who was saying to me, and you will look at a cigarette and you will think, what? I don't smoke. And I remember, even though I'm supposedly in a trance, bullshit, I remember saying in my head when I heard her say that, are you kidding? I was still sort of pushing back. I left that hypnosis session and never had an urge to pick up a cigarette again. Powerful stuff, what you can do, harnessing your own head. Dr. Stiles, step by step, shows you how. And when you're in the relaxed state that you're in when you're hypnotized, you are open to all of those suggestions you want in there, right? So I'm just saying, if there's something that you think you could be helped through hypnosis, try it. Try it. Dr. Stiles, by the way, if you want to get in and see him, do it quickly, because he ain't here in the winter. He ain't here in the winter, but he's here for a little bit, and he's bound and determined to see you if you can. It can be just about anything. I, as somebody who's been to him, can truly endorse this guy. I don't endorse people I don't know or have not had a good experience with. Dr. Stiles, man, he knows what he's doing, guys. So, here's a phone number. 724-656-0454. I'm doing that one more time for you. 724-656-0454. As Donald Trump used to tell black people, what do you have to lose? So speaking of, the Trump people now taking over, have you seen who it looks like is going to get the head of the Veterans Administration? If he gets it, it'll be the first time the VA has been run by somebody who never served 1 second in the military. It's that alone should be disqualifying. He's one of these nutcase right-wingers in the House. His name's Jeff Miller from Florida. And here's who's advising. We always said Frank Gaffney, the biggest Islamophobe in the country, the guy who thinks Obama is a Muslim. He is now part of the National Security Brain Trust. And here, in terms of the Veterans Administration, The Trump folks are being advised on policy by a group called Concerned Veterans for America. You know what that is? It's a Koch brothers front group. It's a Koch brothers front group who wants to, sole purpose is to privatize VA. Because there's money to be made there. They want to privatize it, and that's who Trump looks like they're heading toward. Concerned Veterans for America. It's based in Washington, and it has been considered a fringe group by all the other mainstream veterans group who shun them. So Trump has not turned to a mainstream veterans group, a group that represents truly the interests of veterans. It has turned to a so-called veterans group that is simply a front for the Koch brothers. Don't tell me to give these guys a chance. You gotta be kidding me. The Catholic bishops have put the Trump people on notice as well, that they will fight them hook, line, and sinker on immigrant deportations. And they actually did something they've never done before. They elected as their vice president, who will ascend to the presidency in 3 years of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. They have put in the second spot a archbishop who was born in Mexico, Jose Gomez. And Jose Gomez, the day after Trump won, convened an interfaith prayer service at the cathedral in Los Angeles. And anyone who was there will tell you that this archbishop gave an emotional homily, vowing not to abandon the children and the parents who are now living in true fear that Trump will follow through on his promise of mass deportation. And the archbishop said, "This should not be happening in America. We are not that kind of people. We are better than this." Oh, Archbishop Gomez, that's what I thought too, but I'm not so sure anymore. So he's going to get some serious pushback from the Catholic hierarchy in this country. And by the way, I should note that the guy one step above him, the new president of the United States Conference on Catholic Bishops, is a Pittsburgh guy. And that is Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, no relation to Joe, who hails from this area but is now serving the folks of Galveston, Texas. Anyway, we got to go, but I just want to say that these Catholic bishops opened their meeting yesterday by endorsing a strongly worded letter to Donald Trump that put him on notice that the church is committed to resettling refugees and keeping immigrant families intact. Just saying. Okie doke, guys. That's it for me today. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I just want to say this. Don't give an inch. See you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.